Friday afternoon, and my pleasure to welcome to the show Tanya Unkovic. Tanya, kia ora. Thank you for joining us.
Kia ora. How are you this afternoon?
Yeah, pretty good for a Friday. Second to last Friday before Christmas. Last Friday before Christmas Eve, let's call it that. And, of course, much to be done. Of all of the wise sayings and things that you've shared over the years, I thought it might be fun to see if we can do a best of. And given that we're in an Olympic year, sort of, silver, gold and bronze in terms of the topics that you got the biggest response to.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do it. Should we do gold first?
Yeah,
Which way do you want to go?
Let's reverse that. Bronze medal first, and we'll finale with gold. Does that sound good?
Okay, let's do it. Well, bronze for 2021, people really responded to the interviews on how to get back up again when you've been knocked down, when life has knocked you down, and all you want to do is stay down. So people really wanted to know, how do I get back into state, no matter what has happened in my life, no matter how bad it's been, and how do I deal with those big emotions when they come up? Because that's why we want to stay down. We don't want to get up and feel the emotions. So that was a really big topic. That got bronze.
Well deserved. This was a sort of a topic which wove in and out of some of the messages that you brought, because I think a whole bunch of people related to this, as well as lockdowns, as well as uncertainty and anxiety with various restrictions. Of course, life continued. People still went through the normal sort of crises that they would in a regular year. They just sort of had COVID icing on top of that, right?
They sure did. And, we've got the choice. We've got the choice on whether we want to stay in our brown puddle of mud and be a victim, or we've got the choice to actually stand up and go, I'm going to be victorious.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been a tough year, but man, I'm going to put my shoulders back. I'm going to remember who I am. I've got to remember who I'm walking alongside.
Yeah.
And everything I need is already within me to get up and do or achieve or be whatever it is that I need to be.
Tanya, sometimes though, that puddle of mud, that can seem like such a comfortable place. That can seem like the place that I want to stay. We've all been in that space, but it's an act of will to move forward, I suppose.
It really is. And, often it feels like when you've got gumboots on and you're trying to step out of the mud, those first few steps are really hard, getting out of the mud. But once you are out, wash yourself off, it is easier, but it's just those first couple of steps.
Very good advice indeed. Now, that's the bronze medalist. Coming in the silver position on our virtual podium, Tanya?
It was all about relationships. People who felt that they needed a little bit of rescuing in their relationship, and also another interview on loving again later in life, whether you're doing it second time around or some people actually in their own relationship go, we need to kind of spruce this up a bit. We need to find the oomph again. We need to find excitement again in our relationship. Those interviews really got a lot of hits.
Now, one of the most exciting things towards the latter part of my year is a good friend of mine who's been single forever. She's in her 60s, is engaged to be married to somebody else who's never been married before. So, she's got a grin on her face as she heads towards Christmas.
Those are great stories.
Yeah, finding love later in life. One of the best things. Now, I won't give her name because I don't have permission to give her name. But one of the best things about the story is when she first asked God for a husband. About that same month, the person who will be her husband became a Christian.
Wow.
Many years ago. So, cool story, and God's fingerprints all over it.
Wow, that is a great story. And, a lot of people, loving again later in life is very different to when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
We're very, very different people. It's a really different dynamic. And, of course, we've got baggage. We've got baggage later in life, so it's about helping each other unpack that baggage. That's part of the journey.
It is. Sorry, keep going.
That is actually something that people are really interested in knowing how to do. How do I love again? How do we integrate families, finances, and everything else?
Yeah, it can be tricky. And I think, like I was saying beforehand, that COVID icing, a lot more pressure on relationships during these lockdown times, right?
Oh, yes. Staying together day in and day out, losing your routine, losing the spark. Oh God, I'm looking at him all day, every day, or looking at her all day, every day. You've got to start dating again and start, getting that shine back again. So, yeah, those were really big hits, those two.
Now, looking at some of the most popular topics that we've talked about this year on this program and, of course, on the Days program, which you were a contributor to previously. Now, these are the topics that got the most hits on the website, the most plays, the most requests for more information, are they?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, because I put them straight away onto my YouTube channel. And these ones I noticed, gosh, people were listening to them straight away, or people were emailing me saying, thank you for this interview, I really related. So, yeah, that is how I've gone through and had a look at, wow, this was big.
Yeah.
And I understand why number one is what it is.
Certainly struck a nerve, and it is a difficult topic indeed, but tragically, one which it seems a lot of people related to this year.
Yeah, Diane and I talked about emotional abuse. Very different to physical abuse because it's not as obvious. It might just be subtle put downs, and it may not even be just in a relationship. It may even be in a work environment, but people really responded when we talked about this and what it might look like. So, yeah, that was sadly a big topic.
Although this is speaking words of truth and words of healing, really, like you're saying before, how we don't need to stay in our muddy puddle. If somebody is in a situation where they are facing emotional abuse and responded to the prompters or the descriptions that you gave, you also giving the keys, of course, to set them free from that. Yes. As we wrap up this year, this doesn't need to be the script for next year.
Absolutely. I always encourage people to believe in themselves. Trust your instinct. Listen to that loving voice in your head. If something feels off, then it probably is.
Yeah.
So a big part of the journey is learning to trust yourself again, because confusion is one of the things that keeps us stuck in those sorts of dynamic relationships. We're confused. One minute we're being showered with love, the next minute we're being told you're no good, So it's about going, something doesn't feel right here. Start listening to your heart, listening to your instinct, and trusting yourself again. And
there's that difference, I suppose, between relationships that have their rough spots and relationships which are actually spiraling down into a toxic, unhealthy relationship, learning to tell the difference, perhaps getting some external support to work through that.
Yes, very much so. And, I always say to people, trust your instinct on that. If you are feeling that it is abusive, if there are those silent messages that you feel are putting you down all the time, then your instinct is probably right.
Wonderful wisdom and advice, but hey, people don't just need to go for the top three. All of the conversations in Corridor that we've had throughout 2021 and, previous to that as well, that's all available on your YouTube channel?
They are indeed, yes, and everything is in a playlist. So if you want to look about relationships, they're all there. If you want to look at things to do with how to set goals and that sort of thing, they're all in separate playlists. So plenty there.
Wonderful wisdom, and I know that will be a blessing for many people, but to encourage people to check that out, TanyaUnkovich.com, of course, the place to go. Tanya, I do hope that you have an excellent weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye for now.